Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is cold, rainy. It's the 24th of February. I'm on my way to an appointment. I just hung up a phone with a seller in Cleveland who's friends with a former seller of mine who I handled last year. And the gentleman was approached by a broker. Now, brokers outside the state of Florida don't really cooperate with each other, but the broker was working for investors and wanted to get non-disclosure signed to get a look at the books before they ever made an offer. So the gentleman called me, it's him and his partner. He says, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right? Should I get a broker? Should I not get a broker? I said, well, let's stop. Do you want to sell? Turns out one of the partners is close to 60 and does want an exit. I said, well, do you know what you're worth? And he said, no. I said, well, let's do a valuation first and get an assessment on the value. We did some cocktail math valuation. He's doing about 2 million. Cash flow is probably around 7. So I gave him a number based upon what I knew from the prior business. He says, well, that probably is enough for us to do what we want to do. I said, well, look, you got to be careful about signing non-disclosures. I go, who's the buyer? He says, the buyer's an attorney and an accountant, a CPA. I said, well, let's be really careful with what we do. The attorney's not going to write an NDA that's not friendly to them. It's not in their DNA. So, one of the things that both investors and private equity people don't like is business brokers. And you would think it's because we're, knuckle draggers or don't know what we're doing. But the reason they don't like us is because we set an expectation in terms of value. So every business owner should, on an annual basis, and I think I've been saying this for 20 years, get a valuation done. In the exit planning world, that's called a triggering event. You should, if not every quarter or every half year, at the very least every year, have a valuation done before you sign your taxes to know where you stand relative to the best in class, relative to issues in your business, and that way you're able to make yourself as profitable as possible, particularly if you're a little bit bigger than a smaller business and you're in your 40s and 50s, because it's not uncommon to get these unsolicited requests. Now, don't sign an NDA unless you have a valuation. And the question on whether you need a broker at that point or not need a broker at that point is, what's a broker do? A broker's a fancy word for salesman. And my instinct as a salesman is, if you're really thinking of selling it, why would you not take it to market? Now, the answer to that is, well, I don't want to pay a commission. And yes, we're expensive. We don't do this for Jesus. But if you take it to market and get multiple offers, you will hold your price and not get a haircut. So why do private equity groups engage brokers, or why do investors solicit with brokers, buyers, and get NDAs and LOIs put out there? Well, the LOI is not binding. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tie a seller up to a contract. It's all one-sided, which is why I don't like them. But that's the lay of the land when you're doing M&A work, because there's less buyers at that level. But why do they, what do they do? Well, statistically speaking, they're going to give you what you want. If you have a number in mind, or they're going to give you a higher than average valuation. And then they're going to get you pregnant. And that's the term we use, getting you pregnant. Because once you get pregnant, you're probably going to give birth. Chances are, in the deal structure world. But what are they going to do? They're going to get you under an LOI. They're going to get into all your stuff. They're going to put you through your paces, and they're going to wear you down. And they're going to find every wart, every issue, every problem, every nick and dent on your business to whittle you down. The only defense you have is a second, third, fourth, fifth buyer in the wings. Position of strength, having the ability to walk. The only way you have the ability to walk is by having options. So my opinion is, and yes, it is certainly self-motivated, but the statistics bear out that if you have competition, you hold your price point and you don't get a haircut. And I have many times seen people get haircuts on deals that they did on their own. Take your business to market if you're going to sell. If you get an unsolicited approach, hire a broker, or at the very least hire an attorney. Frankly, you need to hire both. to make sure that your stuff is in order. Get your valuations done every quarter, get your valuations done every year. Address the issues that we identify as warts and dings. Don't take it personal. Nobody's perfect. The only perfect person died on a cross 2,000 something years ago, if you flow that way. And that way, when you get those offers, you are a valuable and a significant asset that people want.